curling, it's in, and we've got crossing a corner.
Will this be the opportunity for Bottas to get past Gonzalez? Hamilton's done so well to pull away, and Charles Leclerc is in 4th place. Bottas is trying to make a move round the Parabolica. Lewis Hamilton's going to come home, and he's going to win the Italian Grand Prix. Who's going to get second? It's going right to the wire. It's Bottas, Gonzalez, and Gonzalez takes it. Gonzalez has got it. Hector Gonzalez second. Hamilton though wins. What an important win. Lewis Hamilton, race winner of the Italian Grand Prix. Hamilton takes the trophy, takes the champagne. A spray has to be said of the technical race engineer there, Ewan McIntyre. But wow, what a performance by Lewis Hamilton today. He was absolutely brilliant.
Good afternoon, welcome to Sochi here in Russia for the Russian Grand Prix. It's round 13 of the Formula 1 World Championship, a championship which is heading nicely to the boil. We only have, after this race complete, 3 more to go. 16 rounds of a championship which has absolutely blown us away. Sochi here today, 3.6 miles and 18 turns. And 2 DRS detection zones today. It's the site of the Winter Olympics, which Russia held all those years ago, and it has become a circuit which has been completely dominated by Mercedes. That's past, present, but will it be future? The Mercedes driver here today is on pole as the Russian military fly over, and Valtteri Bottas know that it's been the perfect start for he himself has a great start on pole. His title rival is down in 5th place alongside Valtteri Bottas here on pole today. That's Max Verstappen, he's in the Red Bull. 3rd in the 2nd row, just ahead of him, and behind in the racing standards for this race is Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel, both Ferraris out qualifying Lewis Hamilton that struggled. Daniel Ricciardo is 6th for Renault. Perez is 7th, and Gonzalez, that is 3rd in the championship, can only manage 8th. His fellow Spaniard Carlos Sainz is his 10th. Local boy Daniel Kvyat is down in 12th ahead of the 2 Frenchmen, and Antonio Giovinazzi ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. It's Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen bringing up before Mick Schumacher has ousted George Russell, and on the back of the grid is Nicholas Latifi and Lando Norris. And we will be right back after this. Watch for Bottas on your right, Max Verstappen on your left, both Ferraris behind them, 5 red lights out. The Russian Grand Prix is back up and running, and here we go into the dart, into the very first corner. It's that slow sleeping right-hander, and straight away Verstappen has made a good move. Both of the Ferraris are coming through. Lewis Hamilton also is sitting alongside. There's 3 abreast on anyway into turn 2, the big tie-hander, and they're through. And Gonzalez, look at Gonzalez, is blown through. Wonderful by Gonzalez, through into the Ferrari. Bottas is through. I think Hamilton is down in 5th place, and he's in 4th place. So Bottas leads, Gonzalez is 2nd, 3rd is the Ferrari of, well, we'll wait and see who it is, but it is a Ferrari. Apologies for not being too much specific. But what a start by Gonzalez. Outstanding. Absolutely brilliant by him. And Hector knows that there is an outside chance this season of the championship for him. But that outside chance, he is seizing all the much and all the much by the day. Of course, he's going to make up 41 points on Valtteri Bottas. And Lewis Hamilton, well, what a poor day for him. 14 points behind Bottas, the Finn, who has been flying at the moment.
Hector, I've just been given a friendly nudge by the stewards about track limits, so if you could keep the car between the white lines, please. Thank you.
Well, that's Chris Whiteman, the team principal of Ravenwest, being ever so diplomatic. Of course, you have to be diplomatic here in Russia, and diplomacy will definitely be the heart of all the race drivers here today. So, Bottas is ahead of Gonzalez. Charles Leclerc is that Ferrari that's in third place, and then Max Verstappen started second, is down in fourth. Hamilton now is down in fifth, and sixth is Sebastian Vettel. And the Russian Grand Prix is up and flying, and we'll have to watch to see if Gonzalez is going to watch those track limits. And was that just slightly too far then? So is the danger here in Sochi. Of course, we wait and see. And the wonderful noise that these cars are making, but I understand the noise could be changing, as could the tyres for next season. Chase Carey starters mean that Firestone, who supply for IndyCar, will be supplying tyres for next season. But I'm sure tyres are the least of the worries here of Bottas and Gonzalez. Charles Leclerc, he's down in third place. He seems to be at the moment holding up Verstappen and Hamilton. They're staying very close to him at the moment. So it could be a case at the moment that for both of those drivers to stay in the race. We join Mick Schumacher, started 19th, currently 17th in the race at the moment. And he's got the eyes of a Haas ahead of him, an Alfa Romeo behind him, and definitely has the world at his fingertips. Fastest lap recorded so far, Valtteri Bottas, 135.6 as they get going. DRS zones are going to open up now. And when that does, well, that could start to make more of the racing here much tighter and closer, as we're seeing it happen straight away. And with that, Mick Schumacher is able to operate DRS, and it's going to make for some interesting racing in the middle of the pack. And just that sweeping long before braking hard into turn 4, and then they'll speed up again. Tight right-hander into turn 5, a little kink of 6, a little nudge into 7, and a series of left-handers for Mick Schumacher to negotiate after this. As they look to break in, 8 and 9 come at you very quickly. There's 1, there's 2, it's a double apex, brake slowly into turn 10, and then you can start to put the hammer down. As 11 and 12, you sweep through two long-standing left-handers as you curl slightly over to the right and just allow all the car to drift over. And Giovinazzi out. Giovinazzi's gearbox has failed.
Box now, Hector. Box now. Box now. Box now. Box now. Safety car has just gone out. We can change strategy here. This could give us a good opportunity.
Well, you heard Chris Whiteman on the radio. He's gone for it straight away. Safety car deployed, so he's the only driver that's come in and gambled on this, so it's either here that he's going to go put on. It looks like there is a Renault coming in. We'll wait and see who it is. Both the racing points are going to come in and double stack one after the other. So Ricciardo is in for Renault, and Latifi is pitting for Williams. So here we go, we wait and see the changeover between both the drivers. In goes one, and waiting for the turnover of the second driver. And that is a good start for Perez. Not so much there, and it looks to be a good start and a good stop taken by the Williams team. And we're back out and running. So Gonzalez is out. I'm looking at his timings. He's out in 17th. So probably not the ideal. Hector Gonzalez would be after, but he's gambling on everybody bunching up and then everyone having to pit. And then as he can go through, he'll have some clear track ahead of him on those medium compound tyres. If he can make it last, this will be a delightful little strategy that may pay off. As of right now, 17th and back, and it's all to do. Well, now we are in a safety car, and not a lot to do. It's time to let you know that the Russian Grand Prix, well, this current incarnation at Sochi was started in 2014, and since then Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas have shared exclusive winning rights, 4 to Hamilton and 2 to Bottas. Hamilton would need to make that 5-2, and Bottas would make it 3-4, and Bottas leading the championship. It's going perfect for him. But interesting to note that that's been 100 years between Russian Grand Prix. 1913 and 14 there was a Russian Grand Prix in St. Petersburg. Both of those cars, it was a Benz of course, even before Mercedes-Benz was formed. So the Silver Arrow knows only but success at the Russian Grand Prix. With 5 laps of 13 under the safety car, and Bottas leads from Leclerc. Verstappen is up to 3rd as a result, and Gonzalez is coming in. It's promoted Hamilton to 4th. And Hamilton, with that 14 points difference to Valtteri Bottas, will know really he needs to get past his teammate and get ahead of him, and hope that Bottas, well, from Hamilton's standpoint, a win and a DNF for Bottas would be the perfect standpoint. From where we stand on a racing standpoint, we want to see these two battle it out. This is round 13. We're off to Suzuka next, and once upon a time the championship was concluded at Suzuka. It won't be this time today. And there is Lewis Hamilton in 4th place. He has it all to do, and never is Hamilton's odds stacked against him just as heavily as it seems to be today. Pride of Britain going to equal Michael Schumacher's championship. Just hasn't quite happened for him this season. He's had some bad luck, and some decisions have gone against him, and Bottas has drove him fantastically. Right, news coming in. Race Control have announced that the safety car will come in this lap. When they do, DRS will be disabled up until lap 8. So again, if you're looking to pass, which you do at Sochi, because it has, well, truth be told, been a bit of a procession as a Grand Prix over recent years, and please don't tell Emperor Putin that I said this. Hopefully the fact that I'm miles from the track may help. One of the things to note from here though is you do need DRS to pass. Without DRS, it's a very difficult track to find it. You've got long sweeping corners. Some of the braking points are very difficult, and the fact you've got the barriers so close, you know, it makes a great spectacle. Monaco itself is an example of a race in which you very rarely see overtaking, but to see them drive that they do around the circuit is outstanding. I'm not so sure about Sochi. You know, it's not what you would call a traditional track. It is artificial in its creation. You know, some of them are born out of old street circuits, and Silverstone is an old RAF base. But here today, Lewis Hamilton knows that he's got to forego tradition. He's got to get that right foot down, and he's got to find a few tenths or so, or maybe more a lap, and he's got to get past his teammates. And standing in his way is Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, two young men that have been outstanding drivers, and F1 very much sits in good faith with those two. And we are looking forward to the race getting underway. Really flying here today. Hamilton has already made a decent start, but look at it straight away. Valtteri Bottas is able to put in space between him and Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton's getting closer and closer to the gearbox of Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc has seen the gearbox of Valtteri Bottas get further and further away. And will this be the year a Mercedes or a Benz fails to win the Russian Grand Prix. Be 102 years in, well, be 100 plus years in the making if that was the case. And now this is Mick Schumacher, who's now flying through. And you really have to feel with the changes that they've made to the car. I'm sure Nathan McCain and the team will be delighted with that. How good a challenger could Ravenwest be for next season? That'll be it all mates to see. So after that we are going to wait to see if some drivers will opt to take the pits. Usually we are over half distance. And I'm watching the pit lane and there's not a lot of activity, so I wonder if they're going to pit late. If they do, well, that's going to make this last few minutes of this race rather dramatic. And we're watching Mick Schumacher, yes, son of the great Michael. And Michael Schumacher, of course, 5 world championships back to back. Lewis Hamilton himself, well, he was hoping to make it 4 back to back. Of course, Lewis Hamilton's run was a stopped, but like Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton has won his championships in different teams. 1 with McLaren and 5 so far with Mercedes. Michael Schumacher, of course, he won 2 with Benetton and 5 with Ferrari. Dominating period broken by Fernando Alonso, and it looks like there may be a Spaniard that can break the difference, but right now Mick Schumacher is giving it everything he's got in the Ravenwest. So in they come, turn left, short stunts into a left-hander, and you accelerate out of left-hander for having to brake heavily again. So this track itself, you've got to rely on those curbs to stay dry. Any excess dust or anything could make a real danger. So DRS is enabled and the racing is back under, and Valtteri Bottas here is cruising away from Charles Leclerc. Hamilton will have DRS, and this is Hamilton. And that of course is the Red Bull. Max Verstappen ahead of him. And Sebastian Vettel is also involved, so this has essentially become a battle for second place. And well, Lewis Hamilton will know, pass, and there is a chance you can take the championship fight. But the distance here then, this will start to up a real distance between Hamilton and Bottas. And Valtteri Bottas may be thinking that this might be his year. And the question you then ask is if he's leading the championship, would Lewis Hamilton play second to make sure? We know in the 2016 season against Nico Rosberg, Hamilton certainly did not play the second driver as the two of them battled right to the final race. And DRS is open for Hamilton, but he cannot find a way the moment past Max Verstappen, who's locked up slightly. And I suspect that's because Charles Leclerc just isn't moving as quickly as he'd hoped and he'd like. And here is a man that's moved very quickly indeed, Valtteri Bottas, who's been quite brilliant this season thus far. And now Lewis Hamilton decides to pit along with Sebastian Vettel. The two of them break into pits. And Alex Albon's come in also for Red Bull. So this is where we wait and see if this is the right move to make. I'm watching Hamilton stop. Well, he's got out up ahead of Vettel, so that'll be a good for Lewis. But Bottas leads from Leclerc. Max Verstappen is third. There is Mick Schumacher, and that's a really good move on Romain Grosjean if he can make it stick. And he can. That Ravenwest has got a little more speed thanks to upgraded Honda engine on Grosjean. And Gonzalez has done it and comes through. And now Hector Gonzalez is chasing away his teammate. We're watching Daniel Ricciardo also make a move. And Ricciardo has made a move also. Well, Romain Grosjean, this has not been his race thus far. Got both racing points that have pitted and on fresher rubber and could make their opportunity. And now Hector Gonzalez has got his teammate ahead of him. And, will the team principal Chris Whiteman call team orders and tell Schumacher to let him through? And now we're watching Grosjean try to defend. It's gone very deep, 3 abreast, and both racing points with DRS have far too much. And are able to squeeze through thanks to good track positioning. So Latifi and Perez are through. And now let's look at this again. This is Roman Grosjean's point of view. You see him there. And again, not a lot he can do. Tries to hold off the inside line. But because there are so many across him and half of the car is across him, he has to yield position. But definitely has to slow a car. So, into the pits comes Valtteri Bottas. And this is really going to decide the race. In comes Charles Leclerc. In comes Max Verstappen. Has this worked for Lewis Hamilton? We wait and we wait. That's what we do. This is Gonzalez. Does this work for him? Gonzalez is flying at the moment around this racetrack. And has he done enough to take through and take the lead? We are waiting to see. This is an opportunity for Gonzalez. He tries to block Ricciardo. Oh, the two of them almost touch as they go into the right-hander. And with that, Gonzalez has gone into the lead. And Bottas is ahead. Oh, Williams in 5th. Hamilton has got past Leclerc and Verstappen, but Hamilton is down in 7th. So Bottas is still ahead of him. And the top 5 have all stopped in the safety car period. So Nicholas Latifi, 5th place. Wow, would you believe this? This is outstanding. So Williams are looking at World Championship points at long last. There is Ricciardo. Well, it's we're seeing at the moment Gonzalez fight off soft tyres at the moment on the Renault, mediums on the Ravenwest. Renault versus Honda, that old age battle has been between two, and now Gonzalez has got to hang on, and he's driving incredibly defensively. And I wonder if Ricciardo took damage. He seemed to back off and lock up his front left quite heavily, and Gonzalez is hanging on at the moment to the lead. But what a lead it would be, and what it would do for his championship challenges. 41 points he's got to make up. He's got this race and 2 more to follow. Could the impossible World Championship dream be on for Ravenwest? He goes just slightly wide. Sergio Perez is behind him. What a drive Perez has had, yet to win in Formula 1, Sergio Perez, but this is his moment with 2 laps to go. Tries to dart around the inside. Tries to squeeze, and Gonzalez does really well to hang on in there. And what this will do for the championship. It's going to put Gonzalez right in there, and you have to credit Chris Whiteman, who called his driver in during the safety car. It was perfect timing to get everybody ready for that. Was outstanding by the Ravenwest team. And, congratulations to all those involved. I know whether it's their chief ground commander John Stoddard does train his men really, really well, and you can definitely see it there. Real soldier at arms. So opportunities presenting themselves. Ricciardo is looking to hold on, and the question is, can he? And ahead of him, is there a chance for Perez to go for the lead? This is 3rd place that Ricciardo is hanging on for. Promised everybody that he will do a shoey if he can get a podium for Renault. Hopefully that means he's going to drink from his shoe, not knock someone off the roads. And Gonzalez is doing everything possible, and the Renault is coming, the Williams, is getting serious pressure at the moment from Bottas. Now Perez leads. Sergio Perez is right behind that of Gonzalez. Lance Stroll battling Daniel Ricciardo. Here comes Lance Stroll trying to find a way through, and I'll tell you what, it's not often you see the Russian Grand Prix this exciting. The battle for 3rd place in the Racing Point, with last year's essentially Mercedes trying to find off Daniel Ricciardo for 4th, and Stroll does it. The Canadian is through, and we are into lap 12 at 13. And Ricciardo was seeing that podium fall away. He may not get that shoey. Hector Gonzalez though has Sergio Perez behind him. And Latifi now is down to 6th after being passed by Valtteri Bottas. And Latifi will have to hold off, and Hamilton will have to hope to pass him. But the more this season goes, the more it looks like Lewis Hamilton's championship challenge may be fading. At the same time, the more it seems to be that the championship challenge is very much coming from Hector Gonzalez. So, 3 to go. Final lap. Oh, did you see a bit of oversteer by Gonzalez, who's got Stroll and Perez sitting right behind him? And we really are getting to the business end of the Grand Prix. Final lap. 1 lap to go. 3.6 miles for Gonzalez to hang on. Perez and Stroll sitting right behind him. They've got DRS. He hasn't. He's got to go defensive. Has Perez got enough to go through? Outside, he hangs on Gonzalez into turn 1. And now he lost Stroll an opportunity round the long sweeping turn 3 to make their way through. There'll be a braking point into turn 4. Stroll is through. Perez is down to 3rd. Lance Stroll, the Canadian, is now trying to make a move as they brake heavily into turn 5. And it was so nearly close, and Gonzalez is doing everything he can at the moment to hold that lead. Definitely the slower car, but definitely the quicker driver goes really wide, and they make their way through turns 8 and 9. 18 turns to make in this Grand Prix. Lance Stroll in the Perez, and look at this, both Mercedes have joined, and Ricciardo. This is the championship challenge, pretty much hanging in there. Just how good is it? Look at Lance Stroll going side by side as they fly down 11 and 12 into 13. Can he hang on? Gonzalez, oh, he's gone wide! He's gone wide! And he's doing everything possible to hang on. Well, the stewards, they may have a look at this. Braking again. Turn 15, round left, turn 16, a blast towards the pit straight entry, and it looks like the racing point has gone through. It has gone through. Can Gonzalez find something magical here? Sergio Perez is through. He's never won a Grand Prix before, and does so now. Sergio Perez is a winner in Sochi, and Perez from Russia with love is a winner.
Yes, Checo, P1. Lance P3, Checo, Lance P3.
I'm speechless, guys.
Just stay ahead of the guys if you can, Checo. Stay ahead of the guys so you can line up properly when you come in.
Good job, guys.
Amazing, Checo. Well done.
Well, what a magnificent moment. Sergio Perez is the winner. And he's a very popular man. And my heavens, what a brilliant drive he had. It was great call to bring both those drivers in. Lance Stroll made his move. Perez has made an amazing stick. Nicholas Latifi ends up coming 9th, but that'll be championship points at last for Williams. But here is the man, Perez, the hero of the hour. You always remember your first. And this afternoon in Russia, Perez will remember where at long last, in Formula 1 motor racing, he became a Grand Prix winner. It's something that will stay with you forever, and I promise you, it couldn't have happened to a nicer man. Well, that was a bit special, wasn't it? A Grand Prix that lived up to all the hype in the end, and Mercedes' 108-year dominance of the Russian Grand Prix has been ended by a former Mercedes. The Racing Point winning here today, Sergio Perez, congratulations. 25 points for them. Gonzalez is second, and that'll allow him to make up a bit of a gap at the moment on that of Valtteri Bottas. Just 7 points, but more importantly in terms of the championship, Bottas got the fastest lap, so he's got an extra point, and he's extended his lead over Lewis Hamilton by 3 points. 17 points is the gap now we're going to go to Suzuka next, and it really is heating up. Suzuka and 2 more to follow. Well, Valtteri Bottas knows that the championship really is there, but don't discount Hector Gonzalez. He's 34 points behind, and this race is all setting to come to the boil. Sergio Perez has leapfrogged up to 9th in the championship with that win. Well, Sebastian Vettel climbs in and Max Verstappen, just a point between those, as we're watching the Red Bull actually slightly fall apart, and Carlos Sainz remains down in 7th for McLaren. And Daniel Kvyat in the AlphaTauri, the local boy, 14th in the World Championship as things stands. But for Valtteri Bottas, what an important moment for him. 17 points to take to Suzuka. If he was able to get a good enough result over Lewis Hamilton, that could change the championship. But I tell you what, Hector Gonzalez is going to be the person to watch at the moment. Just Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell yet to score points this season. But well done here though to Nicholas Latifi, the Canadian who's got himself Williams' first points of the season. So with that, Mercedes extends their championship, and with all the races to go, Mercedes need just 20 more points available to become Constructors' Champions, regardless of what the opposition do. So it could be another championship for Mercedes, who have been unchallenged in the Constructors' capacity since they returned back in 2014 with Hamilton and Rosberg. Ferrari remains second, and they're starting to extend the lead over Red Bull. They've got to be looking over their shoulders, because Ravenwest have arrived in 4th and look to be picking up the gap between the two. McLaren remain 5th, and with that Racing Point have been able to leapfrog Renault after that. Williams, we know, are finally on the board, and now everybody this season has scored some points. Well, the Russian Grand Prix was a race that completely blew everybody out of surprise. A fantastic finale with 5 cars going for the checkered flag at the end. It's a race in which Bottas has gone a step closer, but the challenger has arrived from Speedy Gonzalez. Looks to be putting in a real championship challenge. We hope you've enjoyed this race, and we'll be with you live to bring you the next race. But from all of us here, thank you very much for watching, and you take care. Bye-bye.